See you here at the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living on this chilly, beautiful, rainy morning. Again, thank you for coming. I'm going to go ahead and read a few announcements. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so anything I'm going to say is on our website, www.venturacsl.org. We have a choir that is a beautiful organization, a beautiful group of people, Yay Choir, and they rehearse on Sundays from 11:30 to 12:30. If you would like to join our choir, please feel free to come on downstairs and we'll show you the way. Everybody is welcome. We are collecting and partnering with some other organizations in an effort for fire survivors. We're bringing new toiletries, new or gently used clothing, new towels, new socks, new underwear to our center by Sunday. That's next Sunday, February 2nd. And please bring in your stuff. Every donation makes a difference. Thank you. And we also have a science and spirituality group that meets on the third Wednesday of every month. The next meeting is February 19th, and the book is You Are the Placebo by Joe Dispenza. Last thing I want to say is if you would like to serve in some capacity, please let us know. You can talk to Bernie, who is our volunteer coordinator. There's all kinds of things to do. You can stand at the door and welcome people. You can help serve food. You can participate in our Circle of Blessings team, which goes and assists people who need rides to doctor's appointments or meal support if they're not feeling well. All kinds of ways to serve and enhance your spiritual connection, not only to yourself, but to this community as well. Thank you very much for listening. And I'm going to turn it over to Bill Hadris here, who is one of our youth and family folks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As Reverend Bonnie said, I'm Bill Hadris with Youth and Family. Do any children want to come up and help me today? I've got no volunteers today. All right. So, question for you all. How do you make purpose in your life? All right, I'll give you the answer. Right? So, how do we create? It starts with a thought, and then we have a feeling, and that thought and feeling need to agree in order for it to happen. There must be an agreement. It's that feeling that provides the energy to move the thought forward so that the thought can become a thing or an experience. We may passionately want something, but unless we believe it is possible for us, it won't become real. So imagine now something you want to do or be. A thought. Maybe it's, I want to learn to swim, or I want to learn to scuba dive. One of my children back there, right? And then give it a feeling. Say, I'm going to feel free when I am able to swim. Or maybe I will feel like flying through the water. Got a quote again by Martin Luther King about living life with purpose. So we want to live for something. Make a purpose in your life. It could be big, it could be small. It is important that we learn to be passionate and that we learn to love and give to a cause bigger than ourselves. This is why we were created, to fill our lives with purpose. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. So, invite you all to repeat after me. I bring joy to my thoughts.
I bring joy to my thoughts.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part Thank you. Now we'll turn the microphone over to Vicki, who will lead us in prayer.
Good morning, ministers, reverends, practitioners standing here with us in this sacred space. If you'd like, you can close your eyes and settle into this perfect moment of peace and love, and into the knowing of the I am presence, the one truth, the one life. Knowing this, I know that this presence is in the presence of patience and abundant grace, and in the persistent beauty of the sunrise and the sunset, and in the absolute presence in a dolphin as a dolphin looks at you, or a loved one. And this love and good is in each and every encounter with everyone. So I allow this truth to flow through me and know that service, the service of being present with myself and others, is truly allowing this love of God to be who I am. And so I am grateful to know that this center is a place where I can come to remember this. And I am grateful for those who serve and those who join us in interconnecting circles that extend throughout the planet and the universe, and help us surrender to the good in everyone and in all, and help us show up as light beings for this planet. Humbly, I just know there is so much more than I can even imagine with this. So I say thank you. I bless this. I bless each one of us here today. And I know this service unfolds perfectly. And I simply say yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I release my prayer, knowing that's already perfect and done. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Vicki. And so it is, and so we allow it to be as we breathe in deeply and center ourselves into the awareness of being here in this perfect present moment. We breathe, we relax, we let go of getting here, we let go of the world around us, and we center in the world within us. Not the world within us as we tell ourselves what is possible, but the world of Spirit's possibilities. The world of knowing our oneness with the I Am presence that lives and moves and has its perfect being in all things. That I Am presence that is love, light, truth, harmony. Another name for God, Spirit, or higher power. Another name for love. Today we rest in the recognition, in the remembrance of that I Am, that we are. And so we'll sing the I Am Remembering chant together. We sing it for ourselves, but also let us remember that because there is only one of us here, we sing this chant on behalf of all beings, on behalf of the entire cosmos. Together we sing, I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. I am love. I am remembering who I am. I am peace. I am remembering. I am purpose. I am love. I am remembering who I am. Compassion. I am remembering who I am. I am peace. I am remembering. I am joy. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. In the light of this divine remembrance, let us breathe in deeply and then exhale, opening our eyes as love, in love, and in service to what is, as it is, and so it is. Thank you, Mark.
My third grade teacher promised me I could win the spelling bee. I studied hard with my flashcards, I was ready. Oh, but when the moment came, the words they didn't. My mouth betrayed, I felt the shame of quitting. So I traveled far away from home, followed my feet like I was grown. Saw 7 seas, walked empty streets, they say when in Rome. The more I fell in love with space, I rediscovered my favorite place, my saving grace, my front door. Life's a fleeting, fragile thing. Some days you sail, some days you sink. When you find your wings, you learn to take the fall. But that's life, after all. After I turned 20, my father left me with no goodbyes, no pretty lies, just an empty seat. No, it's very clear he's gone, I still miss him, but he's in my heart, never departs my memory. I hated living in the dark, turn out the lights, I'd fall apart. Feared the unknown, being alone with a broken heart. Oh, but in the light of day, I guess I knew it. The only way out of the pain is through it. Oh, life's a fleeting, fragile thing. Some days you sail, some days you sink. of the fall. But that's life after all. And if there is a thing I've learned, surely as the world will turn, to love is to give, to share is to live with purpose.
So thank you very much, Jade, and I just love seeing you and your whole family here, your mom and your daughter and your wife. So great to see you. Thank you. So today we're talking about living on purpose. Thank you for that beautiful song. Thank you. And our book of the month has been, oh, hello. Let's give Mary a round of applause. She's so gently trying to discreetly move the microphone, you know. So sweet. Thank you. We're talking about purpose, and we're using this book by Edwin Gaines. This is our last week on this book, maybe our last week on this book. It's the 4 spiritual laws of prosperity. And the 4 spiritual laws are tithing or generosity. The second law is goal setting. The third law is forgiveness. Oh, why did I forget that one? Okay, third law is forgiveness, and the fourth law is purpose, living on purpose. So that's what we're talking about today. And today, I invited somebody from our congregation, one of our practitioners, to come and speak because she is an expert on purpose. She is one of the most purposeful people I know. Her name is Linda Drevenstedt. Let's give Linda a round of applause before we get her up here. Thank you. And Linda is a dynamo, y'all. She is a life coach, a practitioner, an author, and a person with a very strong sense of purpose that she communicates so beautifully. She's sharing her wisdom in a class that's starting next week, and it's called The Great Work of Your Life. And this is a class that will help people find their authentic self and express it in everything that they do. Because I think right now, there's a lot of chaos in the world, a lot of strange energy floating around all the time. And this is a time when a deep sense of personal purpose can really help. It not only helps us, but it helps everybody. We do this work here in this center, not only for ourselves, but we do it on behalf of all beings everywhere, as I'm fond of saying. And so it's an honor and a privilege and a joy for us to anchor in our true purpose and then live like that truth is true. There's a quote from Edwin Gaines. Oh, there's Linda. Forgot to put up your slide there, Linda. Hello, Linda. Let's give Linda another round of applause. There's a quote from Edwin Gaines in the book that we're featuring this month, and she says that every single one of us has a special gift to give to this world. We ask, am I willing to define, embrace, and hold fast to my divine purpose, prayerfully, persistently, and patiently? So, we ask ourselves that question. We know that we have a special purpose, a divine purpose that is ours to do, and then we ask ourselves, are we willing to hold fast to my divine purpose prayerfully, persistently, and patiently? We're going to chat with Linda, and Linda's going to help us show the way. I'm going to put you on the other slide. There we go. There we go. Okay. Come on up, Linda. Here we go. Let's give Linda some love. Thank you. So, Linda, welcome.
Thank you.
Sure. You're no stranger to the stage. You've been up here lots of times, right? Yeah.
Enjoy all these people.
Isn't it sweet? Yeah, they're great. So will you tell us how you define purpose?
I define purpose as I'm going to say kind of the guiding light that leads me into my future, my day, what I'm about. It goes all around things. It's kind of one of the times I defined it as like the umbrella under which everything kind of, all those little stays and the staff, they just come under it. So that as I'm doing whatever it is in my life, I look at it and just see how's that coming together.
So you look at it in the context of your overall purpose then? Yeah, nice. Great, thank you. And can you share with us what your purpose is?
My purpose, and it's interesting because it started out long, and then I took a course about purpose, and they said it needs to be 7 words or less, like you could put it on a billboard that you ride by and you can just see it and know
Yeah.
it and get it.
Yeah?
So it's cultivate potential in people.
Wow.
So it
Cultivate.
ended up being 3 instead of 7.
That's awesome. Cultivate potential in people. And how is that purpose manifesting for you?
Oh, gosh. I'm going to say when it started, it kind of moved me through all the years of my business, post-divorce, different things, looking at what is it that I'm doing that is cultivating me, growing me, and then that I can share that with other people. Because at that time I was a consultant, I had clients. Dental staff and dentists were my clients. And I wanted it helped me see that I was there for every one of them, not just the dentist who was paying the bill, because sometimes they were at cross purposes. Sometimes the staff wanted this and the dentist wanted that. But to help me just see what was the overlying way that I could interact with these people and allow them to each bloom where they were. And I think if I've ever had a challenge with the purpose, it's seeing potential in people that they don't want to go for.
Oh, tell us more about
So
that.
that's that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say particularly for dentists and sometimes staff members, in that I could see that they could move and be so much more than they were allowing themselves to be. Now, my clients were mainly in the Southeast, small towns mainly. So we're talking about people who were just glad to have a job sometimes. And I had to realize that they didn't have anything bigger than that to see, that having a good job as a dental assistant, a dental hygienist, or at the business office was a good thing. You were in a small town, you had a job. But I could see that they could be so much more. The dental assistant could be a dental hygienist, the dental hygienist could serve in different ways. I could see it. So I think there's a gift, and then there's the flip side of it. I do believe that part of my purpose came as that gift, to see that. The fun thing is being able to see the people that catch their own light, I say, and that I can be some kind of a part of that. That's the beauty of it, of
Yes.
having a real purpose that you get to see outpictured.
Nice. Say your words of purpose again for me.
Purpose?
No,
Oh.
your purpose. No.
Is it too southern?
No, what's your purpose, honey?
Cultivate potential in people.
Cultivate potential in people. So
Yes.
you're doing that in your field as an instructor, but also I'm assuming that you must do that a lot in your work as a practitioner and a life coach as well.
Absolutely.
Can you say more about that?
I would say that when I transitioned out of selling my business from being a consultant, the purpose was there for sure. And then I felt like in my 20 years, 25 years as a consultant, the thing I kept bumping into was that it wasn't the systems that I'm a business person, I like systems that I could put into the office. What I saw was the leader, the dentist, he or she, in the later years there was a lot of she's, which was great. As a leader, if they didn't have their own sense of purpose and where they were going and willing to grow themselves past their own crap, they would just flounder still, no matter if they had the tools to go on and be greater than they were in the moment, which is what they were paying me to be, but then they would bump into that. So I would refer them to coaches and psychotherapists that I knew. So when I went through my transition from owning the business and consulting, I went back to train as a coach because I thought that was one of the paths that would allow me to continue my purpose. What better way to, continue? I had coaches to help me, So that's where it went. It went into that arena of, more specifically with this one person rather than this whole team or this whole group of people. With
Yeah. So the purpose that you stated is, certainly it applies to your life that you were describing before, and it applies now. But also when we spoke on the phone, you were saying that it applies in your personal life as well, in your relationships with others in your family or friendships. Can you say something
it
about
does.
that? Yeah.
I see that having that defined has allowed me to take a look at my family, my adult children, their spouses, and now grandchildren. And I'm going to say I haven't always been good at this because sometimes I think I know what they need to do.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Instead of being the coach who asks the question so they figure it out themselves. That's the part of coaching that me had trouble with. Because in a consulting role, you tell them what to do.
Yeah.
You say, this is what you have to do. This is the system. This is the way to do it. Coaching, you wait for them to figure it out. That hasn't always been the easy part, is to sit back and see the potential in, or see something going on, and pull myself back and go, just ask a question, Linda. The art of the question. What is the question you need to ask? And be with them as they go through whatever they're going through. And I found in that part, in the coaching part, even as it extended out to my family, that me sitting back and allowing their unfolding was a big piece of this. That cultivating potential in people didn't mean that I went out and planted their seeds.
Right.
That I had to allow them to see wherever they were going and to bump into their own trenches or climb their own mountains. And it's been tough sometimes because I'm going, well, if you'd taken this course or read this book, you would know exactly what to do, just like I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
So that's been the lesson. And I have to say, Bonnie,
Yes.
when I first started coming here,
Yeah.
and in one of the prayers that you leave, you say, loving what is as it is. That has taken me, I don't know how many years I've been coming here, but I've lived in Ventura 10 years.
Okay.
It's been close to the 10-year point of going, oh, I get it. I've been pissed off because I wasn't loving what is. I needed to fix it
Oh.
or rescue it
Awesome.
or move it over.
Wow.
Anyway,
Well, now we're getting into the nitty gritty here because you're talking about me. Okay, so before you didn't like it when we would say loving what is as it is and so it is because you didn't love what is, right?
yeah, there was something that I wasn't in love
Okay,
with.
you didn't love it. Okay. I love this so much. So what shifted? What was the catalyst that? Because I have a different interpretation of that phrase, which I'll tell you in a minute. But
Okay.
what shifted?
I'm going to say it was several family issues as well as a friend issue. And I was in this take a deep breath, and then some things began to just evolve in ways that I had never thought they could.
Yeah.
And I also went into a piece of where I am in my own aging, my husband's aging, that last year I came up with this card I pulled from some class I took, and it says, I surrender.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
That's another one I've had trouble
Yeah,
with.
I know, I understand.
Because
I
I
understand.
I
Yeah.
can control things
Yeah.
real well.
I know. I know. I feel you. Yeah.
That card sits on my desk as a daily, constant reminder that my job is not to fix everything, but to surrender to what is in this particular moment, because I'm still cultivating potential. What is it that's for me to do, but what's theirs?
Yeah.
How can I just leave theirs alone without wanting to go mess with it?
I know.
And so that's part of the prayer part that Edwene says, staying in the prayerful part, is that in my prayer, I have a Rage on the Page book or a journal that when something's going on like that, I can spit it all out, and then I can just take a deep breath and surrender. Now, I feel better in that moment for
Yes,
sure.
yes,
Now,
absolutely.
it may ease its way back.
I feel you. Yeah, same here.
Come back up with a little snaky head.
Yes. How many of us among us have let something go and then it tends to want to come back? Of course, yes. Yeah. Well, that's very, very enlightening. I appreciate hearing your process with that because I'm sure that others struggle with that phrase as well. In love and in service to what is, as it is, and so it is. And what I mean by that is, I mean, in the field of love, in the field of love. Now, Linda's over here saying, why couldn't you just say that? Why couldn't you just say in the field of love? Notice I immediately donned a Southern accent when I started imitating you. Because I was fixing to get out of here and I did, you know. Anyway, but I mean in the field of love. And honestly, what you're saying too is your objection to it. I think that's a very honest response as well because ultimately we love our problems because our problems are portals to the greater yet to be. The problem and solution are the same thing, right? Susan Burrell's shaking her head over there. Yeah, our problems are portals of what is the greater yet to be. And when we have a problem, and you did this so beautifully, I'm going to say it in slightly different words, you surrendered. Another question for y'all. How many of you pulled a surrendered card from a deck and then say, oh, I don't want that one, and put it back, right? And then you keep pulling the dang card over and over again, right? Anyway, when we have a problem, we tend to start telling the universe what we know. We use our mind to tell the universe what we know instead of stepping aside and surrendering, as Linda so wisely does, and allowing spirit or love or God or the universe to tell us what it knows. And that stupid surrender thing that is so challenging, it's so hard to let go, but it opens us up to a greater realm of possibilities that are beyond our human imagination. You know, we're both human and divine all the time, but the human mind, the human voice, the inner voice is very, very chatty at times, right? And it thinks it knows everything, and it wants to control other people's processes, like I do, like you have claimed that you do, like maybe a few of us claim to do. But what if we were to let it go? It feels like we're failing. It feels like we're doing the opposite of what we've been trained to do our whole life. What if we were to, as they say in the 12 steps, let go and let God, and wait in the anxiety of waiting without the crushing anxiety, and just allow it to be and see what Spirit can do? Does that sound like a good plan? Yeah, I know. I know. Maybe. Come see, come saw, right? So, Linda, we're veering from my list of questions here, but it's so much fun. If you were to coach me in finding my purpose, what would you ask me?
I would ask you, there's 3 or 4 people that I've followed when I've been teaching this more in the New Thought classes, is what hurts your heart? In other words, what is it that you see out in the world that hurts your heart? And Michael Beckwith, of course, has his whole course that's wonderful, that a lot of things, some of our CSL courses. He says, what is it that God or Spirit is wanting to bring through me? What is it that's a little more esoteric, I think, sometimes. But it's a beautiful process to just stop and go, what is it that the Spirit, the divine in me, and God is right here, not out there, which is, I mean, I grew up a little Southern Baptist girl, so there was something out there. God is in here. What is this God self pulling me toward or nudging me toward? Or when I'm in that particular endeavor or that particular thing, I come alive. What is it that brings you alive is another one. What is it that just brings you joy and life in your daily living? In other words, we can't dance all the time, but yay, if you like dancing, can you bring joy to others through teaching them to dance? In other words, there's a lot of pieces of purpose that can, and what's interesting is, I think is, I'm going to say American human beings raised in this country, and particularly in this day and time with everything that's going on, you too can become a TikTok star in, no time.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes there's so many options.
Yeah.
so many things that pull us toward them that sometimes it's hard to get centered inside. So to me, it's an inside job.
Absolutely.
It's a get quiet inside job.
So what hurts your heart? And what is Spirit wanting to express through you? What is being called to express through you? Do you ever encounter people that don't want their purpose? I'm not particularly fond of mine right now, my esoteric purpose. And I can tell you what it is so you don't think it's something, horrible. It's what hurts my heart is the level of division and fighting that I see around me all the time. Polarization hurts my heart. And I get very sad when I think that people can't even have a conversation anymore without listening to each other, they can't have a conversation without attacking each other. And I see all kinds of, you're my coach today right now, I see all kinds of stuff on social media that just breaks my heart on both sides of any issue, and it makes me so sad. And I know, because this pulls at me so deeply, and some of the work that I've done here in this church, some of the things that I've taught is that reconciliation, mystical reconciliation is my purpose. And moving into that place of the third force and knowing that there's an opposing factor and an affirming factor, and they push together. And as we are able to hold that tenderly, then there's a place for a third way to emerge. And I want to be the space where that emergence happens. And I want to ease suffering. But it's terrifying. What do you say about that?
The thing I say about anything that seems huger than anything is that it ends up being one step at a time.
Absolutely.
And then the other is the cultivate potential in people for me is if I'm bumping into something that is really hurting my heart or is really troubling me, is really, I'm in this new phase of life that I don't like, or there's something happening in my family that I don't like, I need to grow through it. In other words, so what is the spiritual quality? What is the spiritual message in here? And I think it's a combination, at least for me. I don't totally rely on, 30 minutes every day of deep meditation. I do well at about 10, okay? I do journaling, but I also know that every class I take or every book I read, it somehow nudges that purpose, that part of me that was originally in my first purpose I wrote was called the Christ Light. What is that? What is it that I can go out and see out in this world? And that's where I ask for guidance. Is there a course? Is there a book? Is there something on my shelf already? Because I've got too many shelves that I can pull that will bring me through this trash I'm in, this stall, this conundrum, this whatever the piece is that I'm trying to get past, because I want to get back to that place I know I have in me called the joy of living my life on purpose. But what is it? What is that's going on? And having written a couple of books, it would happen periodically because I would just go, oh, this book, nobody's going to read it. It's just not worth my time and effort. Babette, 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 babette. So that voice,
Yeah.
how do I get past that voice? What is it in me? And is it something, what was it? I used a quote from Mel Robbins, who's one of, to me, the new gurus of the younger generation. Everything you're thinking is left over from when you were 0 to 8. Everything you're thinking. And so I will go back and do a coach process to go, okay, what is it that's back there that I'm still carrying around? Because it's not helping me be in joy. It's not helping me be in purpose. And let's go see what that is.
Wonderful. I love that. Thank you. Yeah. And as you're speaking too, I'm thinking about that thing that we were talking about before about letting go of the mind and asking, not imposing our possibilities upon spirit, but allowing spirit to impose its possibilities upon us. And I've found in my life, and perhaps you have too, that when we're going through something, later down the line, whether it's a good thing or a thing that we're naming not good, down the line we see, oh, that's why that happened. This was a piece of that puzzle. So whatever anybody in here might be going through now, whatever challenge you might be experiencing, whatever pain you might be having, whatever hurt you might be having, it's not that you created it or that you've done something wrong. It's just a piece of a puzzle that is serving you right now. You just maybe not can't see it, but at some point we'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see it. So
Yeah, hindsight's pretty interesting.
hindsight is pretty good, right? Yeah, yeah. And when you write a book, you really get to look at that too. Let me go back to my list here and see if there's anything else we want to ask you. Oh, you know what? In the quote that I read at the beginning, she mentioned about having a sense of commitment and dedication to your purpose. And do you have some tools for maintaining that commitment and dedication to your purpose, or for any of us?
You know, I think what for me I've seen over time is having it helps me be discerning about, and this has happened all through my life since I started having a purpose, is this the group of people that I feel like is encouraging me to serve a purpose? Are these my peeps? Or am I just going because they're the cool kids, so to speak? What is it I'm doing here? Is this organization that I'm willing to be a volunteer with, am I using my time wisely, and is it fulfilling a purpose? There's just several things that over time I know that my purpose has been that kind of centerboard thing that's allowed me to get into and then maybe turn around and get out of something. Or even a relationship or a friendship or something, and going, this just doesn't feel good when I'm with this person. It's feeling yucky. Now, family members we can't get rid of. So I have learned I have a couple of family members, not, now that, things have changed and I moved around and stuff, I'm not around so much. But I still have some family members that when I know I'm going to be with them, I have to be in preparation for the experience of loving them as they are.
Right.
Which ain't always easy.
Right. We call that pre-forgiveness, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the big one for me.
Right.
With family is
Yeah.
that it's up to me. They are who they are.
Yeah.
And they are not going to change because I think they should.
I know.
Or even if I talk to them about it.
I know.
They kind of just look at me like I've got horns. I mean, it's just really strange.
Yeah.
When I can see so clearly.
Yeah.
That's the toughest one for me, I'm going to say, to still keep my own centerboard.
Yeah.
And stay in love, and knowing that I love this relative as they are. And that one I really have to just do this, and I love you just like you are.
Well, you know what we say in the South, right? Bless your heart.
Bless your heart. Exactly.
Bless your heart, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Bless your heart,
Right.
darling.
So we're about to wind this up, but before we close, maybe tell us a little bit about what you think the most important thing for us to know is, and maybe say a few words about the class that you're getting ready to teach too.
I would say, even though you may have a purpose, and mine was defined, and I think I was pulling out files for the class I taught last Saturday in 1989, is that over time, there's a core of it that's going to stay the same. And so there may be pieces of it that move around. The first one I defined had, my role as a mother, as a sister, at that time I had parents, as a, consultant, blah, blah, blah. And those roles do change. The purpose hasn't changed. It's gotten more clear, actually, I was going to say, in my, but the class that I'm going to be teaching, it's interesting. When you take a class on your purpose, even if you've got one, it helps you to clarify, verify, it gets you back on your own track. Because sometimes, because it's up to us to be at purpose, to have a purpose. I mean, nobody's out here going, oh, Linda, by the way, because I don't have a boss around this. I'm my own boss with this. So I think the class that I'm teaching, I love his process of looking at this as your dharma, and that over our lives, that dharma may shift, but we still have a purpose. And I loved that because I learned a lot when I took this class a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about that whole process, and it made me feel good.
That's awesome.
Good.
Linda's a great teacher. I'm just going to close with a quick story this is from Edwene Gaines' book, and I'll read it to you. Edwene wrote, "For so many years I prayed, God, this is Edwene, I'm right here. Just tell me what you want and I'll do it. Whatever you want, I'll be there. I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you, God, ready to go. Just give me a sign." Well, finally, she wrote, I got quiet enough and I heard God. And what I heard was, Edwene, this is God. I'm right here. Just tell me what you want. Anything, and I'll do it. Whatever you want, I'll be there. And so it is. Let's give Linda some love. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
I love
Thank
that.
you, Linda.
I love that.
Okay. All right. So, thank you, everybody. And as Linda finds her way to her seat, we'll just do a brief prayer. And so we turn within into the anchor of this sweet energy in this sea of love that we co-create here in this spiritual center, where there is compassion, where there is heart, where there is goodness, where there is reconciliation, where there is peace, where there is power. And we know that this energy is not exclusive here, it is everywhere, but we just tap into the awareness of it here as we come together as a community. We feel our peace, our power, our love individually and collectively as a spiritual community, knowing that we are here destined for greatness, for a beautiful purpose, a unique purpose that longs to live and move and have its perfect being through each of our lives and through our life as a spiritual center. And so today I know that purpose has been clarified, that the awareness that there is a purpose has risen up in each and every person here today, that it is spreading and growing and blessing us from the inside out and the outside in. We recognize our oneness with Spirit and Spirit's oneness with us, and we commit to living like this truth is true, to seeking and finding our purpose, to asking for our purpose, knowing that it has already been given, and to trust and to know that the living Spirit of the one God, the one life, is perfecting itself and learning about itself through each of us in all that we do, say, feel, hear, be. And so I'm so grateful for all of this and so much more. So grateful for Linda and for everybody who has served here in this spiritual center this morning and beyond. So grateful for the life of God and the transformation that is constantly evolving and flowing through each of us. Grateful for this teaching. I bless all paths to God, churches, synagogues, temples, mosques, ashrams, fundamentalists, atheists, Sikh gurdwaras, all beings everywhere. And with a heart so filled with blessedness, I say thank you, Spirit, thank you, love, and I release these words into the divine mystery, and together we say, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda, Bonnie, Jade. Oh my God. Don't you love it how it all just weaves together and goes, oh, I'm supposed to ask myself and ask God. Yeah. I'm supposed to, oh wait, listen, go figure. And then we get to embrace and move forward one step at a time. Beautiful. Thank you. We are here today for our collection at this point, and we're going to read it together, so if you can see it that way, I can actually see it there today. Okay. So we're going to repeat this. We're going to say it together. All right? Let me just repeat this. Say it together.
Say it together. Okay.
Holy cow.
Bernie, are we going to say it together?
You know, Bonnie, I was thinking we should say it together.
Okay, let's say it together.
Let's say
Okay.
it together.
All right, here we go.
All right. We trust
in spirit. Love is the giver and receiver of all that we are. We offer these gifts. They are an outer expression of our inner abundance and compassion. Our gifts bless many and return to us multiplied in miraculous ways, so that we may give again. And so it is. Thank you.
We're calling an audible here. Come on up here, Mama. You won't get to Emerald City if you don't follow those yellow bricks. It is the road we live for. Starts right outside your door. If sometimes you feel afraid, remember what your auntie said. You know that you can always come home. Forget how far you roam. I had a childhood full of dreams. Now that I'm older, fairy tales are distant memories. Growing up and all the bedtime stories. But I still believe, I do believe. You won't get to Neverland if you don't have faith in Peter Pan. It is a flight that you need to find out you have wings. If you know you're scared of heights, take his hand, better hold it tight. He's gonna shoot to the moon, so don't grow up too soon. I had a childhood full of dreams. Now that I'm older, fairy tales are distant memories. Growing up and all the bedtime stories. But I still believe, I do believe. Come on, girl. Give it up for Chris, everybody. I had a childhood full of dreams. Now that I'm older, fairy tales are distant memories. Growing up and remember the bedtime stories. But I still believe, I do believe. I still believe, I choose to believe in dreams.
I was hoping Lenny was going to come up and do announcements. Come on, Lenny. She can read this. I know she can do it. So I'm Reverend Jennifer. I am the assistant minister here, and we're going to finish off the service today with a few more announcements. Again, everything here that I say is going to be on our website at www.venturacsl.org. If you are here in person, you can ask somebody with a stole. Either one of the teal stoles is one of our ambassadors, or one of the white stoles that is our practitioners. They'll be able to point you in the correct direction of whatever your questions may be. So like we talked about during the service, the Great Work of Your Life is a 6-week class that Linda is teaching, and it starts tomorrow night. I know I am signed up for it because it's a fantastic book. Linda is a fantastic teacher, and it is a fantastic process. So if you want to, experience the fantastic, sign up for the class. It's gonna be, it's you can't help but learn and take something when you spend some time with Linda. So, all right, next workshop that's coming up is creating spaces that energize and nurture us. This is a 2-session workshop facilitated by Susan Seal. So the 2 workshops will be February 15th and March 1st. And Susan Seal is a feng shui, master guru. So she is going to help you. So I think the first workshop is going to be explaining the mechanics, and you come up with a project that you're going to work on, either in home or workspace or whatever. And she's going to set you free, and then you're going to come back together and address anything that came up for you and issues. So if you have a space in your life that you think could use a little tweaking, this is going to be a fantastic workshop. Fantastic. It's going to be a great workshop with Susan Seal. The other class/workshop is Are You a Light Leader? A Soul Growth Workshop. So this workshop set up a little different. It's 5 days in a row. It's facilitated by the amazing Susan Burrell, who is one of our master teachers. She taught a lot of us practitioners in our prac training. So this is going to be February 25th through February 28th. It's 6:30 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. So you don't have to go out after dark, which is always nice. So you can commit to your soul growth and develop ongoing strategies that will assist you in expanding your capacity to hold more light and love. And all of these classes and workshops are priceless pricing. If you have a question about priceless pricing, ask, again, anybody in a stole or me after service, and we'll explain it to you. Save the date. February 16th will be our annual meeting. So come after service, we'll go over all of the different ministries, what we did last year, what our plans for the upcoming year are. You can get a peek at the budget, all of the super exciting things about church, and I think just come. It's fun. I don't know how to explain it, but it's our annual meeting, and so that's February 16th after service. Today, after service, if you would like coffee or tea or hot chocolate or cookies, or I think there's hummus and vegetables or a myriad of other treats, they're through these doors here. And we also have a bookstore back here that will have the featured book and lots of other books. When Linda was talking about, those books on your bookshelf, if you don't have that bookshelf to go to, we can get you sorted. So, and if you have anything that came up, like with the word surrender, maybe just me, but if you're you keep pulling that same card, metaphorically or really, you can have a 1-minute miracle with a practitioner down here. They would love to pray with you and help discern or navigate through anything that's celebrating or an issue that's coming up. Anything else? I don't think there's anything else. So we are going to close out with our group affirmation, and we're going to read it together. So everybody with me, remembering my abundance, I decide to be love, share love, serve love. Thank you for my life, and so it is. So it is. Thank you, everybody.